Hello everyone, it's me, and today let's learn about Disney princesses together! Let's go! Disney princess auditions.
Ooh, I'm so nervous.
Oh boy, thank you. We'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Next.
Oh boy, looks like it's my turn. Wish me luck, ladies.
Matt Pet looks so cute. Adorable.
My name is Matthew Patrick, and
Next.
But
Next.
excuse me, but
I said
Next.
I'm the mouse. You listen to what I say, Theory Boy, and you listen good. You'll never be a Disney princess based on our qualifications.
But what are those qualifications?
It's Walt's little secret. You don't think our old racist movies are the only thing we keep locked up in the Disney vault, do you?
Fine, you just wait, mouse. It's time I air your dirty little secrets.
Film Theory presents How to Become a Disney Princess.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Film Theory.
Hello Internet, welcome to Film Theory. Hello.
Making enemies with globally beloved mascots since 2015. Today I look at one of the most twisted and cutthroat cinematic universes ever conceived, the Disney princesses. All to answer one burning question that we all never thought to ask: what allows you to qualify as a Disney princess? Now, that may sound like it's a stupid question. You're a princess who happens to be in a Disney movie, duh. But the answer actually is nowhere near that simple. You see, despite me going to Disneyland hundreds of times and constantly being the old creepy dude
9,001 time. It's over 9,000!
who waves enthusiastically to all the princesses as they parade past, what actually got me started down this little vision quest of mine was the trailer for Wreck-It Ralph 2, Ralph Breaks the Internet, which included this scene where Princess Vanellope von Schweetz goes to the Oh My Disney website and enters the Disney Princess Room.
Yes, it's not. Oh my goodness, it's Oh My Disney!
What kind of a princess are you?
Do you have magic hair? Magic hands? No.
Do animals talk to you?
Do people assume all your problems got solved because a big strong man showed up?
Yes,
she is a princess!
Cue the internet collectively high-fiving each other for that sick burn on male prince types. Got 'em! Well, you got him until you forget that princes have literally risked their lives to save multiple women in this room. Jasmine? Ariel?
Jasmine.
Yeah, Aurora, you did a really good job fighting back Maleficent when she created that moat of thorns around the castle. And
In which you surely you can solve it on your own. Of course. Definitely,
then turned into
definitely.
a giant dragon and started breathing green fire everywhere. Oh, wait, no. You were asleep during that whole thing. It was Prince Philip who did all that. Just saying, gals, it's one thing to be an empowered female, it's another thing to be an ungrateful jerk towards the guy who saved your life.
Yes, it's one thing to become, you're a strong woman. But another thing is, ungrateful little...
Now, this scene is
Ungrateful,
legitimately awesome. Any crossover of this caliber is always going to be exciting. It is a literal who's who of Disney female characters from over the decades, but one thing it is not is an accurate portrayal of Disney princesses. You see, the Disney Princesses is a separate media franchise created in the early 2000s. It's like the NSYNC of Disney animated female characters. And believe it or not, it includes only a very select portion of the princess characters. From the animation studio's nearly 100-year history, only 11 characters are technically included as a Disney princess. Pause the video right now and try to guess who those characters are gonna be. I'll give you a second or two to pause the video. Alright, placed your bets? Good. Some are pretty obvious. Snow White, Cinderella, Aurora, aka Sleeping Beauty, Ariel from Little Mermaid, Belle from Beauty and the Beast, and Jasmine from Aladdin.
Yeah, these are all the standard few, of course, understandably. And also, they want to keep a good image of it. So some of it is, the prostitutes, maybe not so much.
If this were a game of Scrabble, they'd be worth 1 point. They're like
1
the
point.
T's and E's of the Disney princess world. Worth 3 points would be Mulan, Tiana from
Mulan.
Princess and the Frog, and Rapunzel from Tangled. Those are the N and
Rapunzel.
P tiles. And the 10-pointer Z's of our little game would be Pocahontas and Merida, the first Pixar princess coming from the movie Brave. Double word score! Now, you may have noticed some pretty big snubs from that list, like, say, Anna and Elsa from Frozen. Literal princesses from Arendelle in what is
And
the
queens.
highest gross grossing animated film of all time. No invite to this exclusive club for either of them. How about Moana? Also not on the list. And it's not like they're too new either. Most of the modern characters were coronated as an official Disney princess about a year after the release of their movie.
But you must recognize that this video came out in the year 2018, so a lot of changes must have been done, so yeah.
Rapunzel, Tiana, Merida, all of them had about an 11 to 12 month gap before they were officially christened a Disney princess. And remember, this list is according to the official list located at princess.disney.com, an official
Back in the year 2018, so
site
3 years have passed.
of Disney.com. This is the real deal here. So what's going on exactly? What in Disney's eyes makes a woman worthy of being a princess? And would Vanellope von Schweetz actually pass the test and merit inclusion in this room from Wreck-It Ralph 2? That, ladies and gentlemen, is my goal today, to turn these empowered women into lists of their core attributes so we can directly compare their worth and find out what methodology Disney is working with to determine their merit. So if we have any hope of
Not a princess, not a princess, princess!
figuring out the criteria,
AKA, please remember, even though you are a princess, even though you are a woman, don't say you are just a weak woman, I'm just a weak girl. Don't say that, come on. You have to be respectful, be grateful, and yeah, and understand that even if you're a weak girl on the exterior, you can do significantly more things, more actions, more responsibilities than a big grown-up, alright?
for becoming a
Big grown-up man.
Disney princess, we're gonna have to reverse engineer things by seeing who's included, who's excluded, and then figuring out what attributes unite those two groups. Now, as I just mentioned, the exclusion of Anna and Elsa from this group shows that not all princesses in Disney movies go on to become Disney princesses trademarked. But that leads to the question, are all Disney princesses trademarked actual princesses in Disney movies? In other words, are they either the daughter of a king or queen, or are they married to a prince? Well, of the 11, 9 of them are easy. Yes, but
Yeah.
2, Pocahontas and Mulan, require a bit more digging. For Pocahontas, her father, I hate these moments when I copy-paste a hard name into a script and then come across it later in the recording closet, suddenly remembering that I have to pronounce the darn thing. Her father, Wuhun Senakawa, was a powerful chief of the Senakamaka. Confederacy. So she's the daughter to a high-ranking ruler for lack of a better term, which would seem to qualify her as a princess. However, there's a wrinkle here. Pocahontas' tribe didn't have patrilineal inheritance, which means that Wahoo Senakawa's sister's children would be the ones next in line to inherit any actual power, not Pocahontas. That said, even though she falls into this weird middle ground of princessdom, history seems to weigh in her favor. In 1808, James Nelson Barker wrote The Indian Princess, or La Belle Sauvage, one of the first dramatizations of Pocahontas' life. Even earlier than that, St. George's Churchyard, where Pocahontas was buried, posted the notice of the burial of Princess Pocahontas. And later, the churchyard was laid out as the Princess Pocahontas Garden in 1958. So even though it does fall into a bit of a middle ground, consensus does seem to say that Pocahontas can qualify as a princess.
Do remember that we are talking about the franchise, the fictional characters, and not about the real world effects. We're just using the real world effects as reference, not directly onto the real world, in real life individuals. Yeah.
As for Mulan, well, not so much. If you're judging her by her main movie alone, she technically doesn't qualify at all. Remember, Mulan is a commoner who enlists in the Chinese military to protect her father. Sure, she saves all of China from the Huns and falls in love with Captain Shang, but nothing about that qualifies you for the technical definition of a princess. It's not until the direct-to-DVD sequel Mulan 2 where, if you squint really hard at it, she becomes a princess for like maybe 5 minutes. You see, Mulan is hired to escort 3 of the Emperor's daughters to be married off to 3 princes. Historically speaking, these guys would be better classified as warlords, but it's Disney, so they're princes, and the marriages will help ensure peace in China. When her love
Yeah, it's a fictional movie. Let's keep it positive and bright.
of Shang falls off a cliff into a giant empty abyss, no joke, this is something that really happens, Mulan assumes what any reasonable person would assume seeing a fall like that he dead, son. So she agrees to marry one of the princes for the good of all China. So she's almost a princess until Shang is revealed to have lived. He hears of the marriage and rushes in at the last minute to stop it, thereby ending Mulan's entire claim to princesshood before it even begins. So Mulan? No, not a princess. Almost, but not quite. So Mulan really proves the lesson here that being an actual princess doesn't matter for qualification into this elite group. And if you want a real nail in this coffin, Mulan was included in the roster of Disney princesses back when the group was first created in 2000. Mulan 2 came out in 2004. So there is absolutely zero way that Mulan would have qualified any angle that you slice it from. So being the dictionary definition of a princess does not matter apparently. Then what does? What connects those 11 characters but still leaves out Moana, Anna, Elsa, not to mention other classic Disney females like Meg from Hercules, Esmeralda from Hunchback of Notre Dame, and even Princess Eilonwy from 1985's The Black Cauldron, a literal princess who is based in Welsh fairy tales and was saving the male protagonist of her story 3 decades before any of the strong women of modern Disney rolled into town. I mean, my mind immediately turned to box office performance since those last 3 movies underperformed at the theaters, but clearly that doesn't apply to Moana and Frozen. Heroic acts? Clearly not, since Moana has more heroism in her little toe than Aurora, who spends 90% of her movie asleep. In fact, it's Merida from Brave who throws a monkey wrench into a lot of the qualifications you might expect to work here. I mean, that is the entire premise of her movie. Her queen mother attempts to convince Merida to be a perfect princess, and Merida fights back.
I'm the princess. I'm the example. My whole life is planned out. But every once in a while, there's a day when I don't have to be a princess.
First of all, like I mentioned earlier, Merida was the first Pixar princess, so being part of Disney Animation Studios to be a Disney princess is no longer a qualifier here, which just shows you how ridiculous these qualifications must be. Secondly, she was the first official Disney princess to not have any sort of romantic attachment. Every other one of those 11 characters have themselves a beau, sometimes hunky, sometimes chunky, but there was always a man present. Merida? Nope. But the last difference here is probably the biggest one. Merida doesn't sing. I mean, sure, there's a song about her in the opening of the movie, but Merida herself doesn't sing a single note in her entire film, while every other Disney princess up to that point had. So what is it? What is this magic ingredient that I'm missing? And how does Moana miss the mark? I mean, I can maybe understand Anna and Elsa. Elsa, by the end of her movie, becomes a queen, and Anna is in her shadow the whole movie.
So technically speaking, she's not a princess, she's a queen.
Let's face it, 2 pale-faced princesses from the icy north aren't the most diverse additions to your princess roster. But Moana literally checks off all the boxes. She's the heir apparent to her father's chiefdom, maybe not a princess in name, but certainly a princess in function. She sings and gets her own main theme song. She performs heroic acts, she's selected as special by fate, she represents a culture and ethnicity not present in the existing 11 character roster. Her movie made a butt ton of money, and it came out
multi-million
more
dollars.
than a year ago, meaning that her coronation
You're welcome. You're welcome.
is long past due at this point. I mean, even her movie spells it out for her.
It's called wayfinding, princess.
Okay, first, I'm not a princess. I'm the daughter of the chief.
Same difference.
No.
If you wear a dress and you have an animal sidekick, you're a princess.
Wait a minute, is that really it? I mean, sure, it's a joke, but it's being told directly to a character who has obviously not met this invisible bar to being a Disney princess, which I gotta admit makes the subtext for this scene really weird. But even though this meta joke is played for laughs, Maui here might not be joking. When Andy Mooney, creator of the Disney Princess Initiative, was interviewed by the New York Times about how he came up with the idea of grouping together the princesses, he had this to say, quote, "Standing in line in the arena of a Disney on Ice show, I was surrounded by little girls dressed head to toe as princesses. They weren't even Disney products. They were generic princess products they'd appended to a Halloween costume, and the light bulb went off. Clearly, there was a latent demand here. So the next morning,
It's a demand and supply. Because supply.
I said to my team, okay, let's establish standards and a color palette and talk to licensees and get as much product out there as we possibly can that allows these girls to do what they're doing anyway, projecting themselves into the characters from these classic movies." End quote. Translation, let's monetize the heck out of the hopes and dreams of these young, impressionable girls. But what if the only 2
Oh my gosh, aka monetize a lot of money, but these are easily impressible girls, you know.
Qualifications are 1, dress, and 2, animal. Let's look at our list of candidates again. Pocahontas, dress, and Miko the raccoon and Flip the hummingbird. Ariel, dress, and Flounder the fish. Jasmine, dress, and Raja the tiger. Mulan, dress, and Mushu the dragon. Rapunzel, dress, and Pascal the chameleon. Tiana, dress, and Louis the crocodile. Belle, dress, and Philippe the horse, or I guess you could consider the beast himself. Cinderella, dress, and her mice Jacques and Gus. Snow White and Sleeping Beauty, dresses, and general woodland creatures. Merida, dress, and Angus the horse. And now let's look at that excluded list. Meg from Hercules, no animal. Princess Eilonwy from Black Cauldron, no animal. Esmeralda from Hunchback, okay, she's got herself a dress and a goat, but she's also an outlaw who's treated as an object of sexual desire by the men in the movie, so she's got a couple other things working against her in this qualification. Anna and Elsa, sure, they have Olaf, but he's technically not an animal. And honestly, they do make the cut when it comes to a separate list of Disneyland theme park princesses, in which they're the only new additions. Quite frankly, animal plus dress is the only set of qualifications that clearly delineates the princesses from the not princesses. But that still leaves out Moana. What about her? She clearly has Hey Hey the rooster, so what's holding her back? It's the dress. Despite what Maui might call her outfit, first off, it's technically not a dress by dictionary definition, which is a one-piece garment for a woman or girl that covers the body and extends down to the legs. However, Jasmine from Aladdin also doesn't wear a traditional dress for most of her movie, so that's not the main problem going on here. What is the issue is what Moana's dress represents. Consider this. According to an interview with the site Tyranny of Style, Nessa Beauvais, visual development artist and key costume designer for Moana, emphasizes the goal of staying true to Pacific Islander culture. Quote, "The biggest challenge on the film was the limited materials. We only had 2, tapa and pandanus. Tapa is made from the mulberry tree bark. They pull out the bark and go through a strenuous process of making a paste and eventually tap it all together, hence tapa. Similar story with the pandanus weaving. Pandanus is actually a tree, and they pull the pandanus leaves and shred them into strips. These dry, and later you take each piece and weave it together. You can even braid it. We had a specific rule. If you can find it in the island, you can make it."
If you can find them islands, you make it.
End quote. Staying true to the materials, history, and culture of the Pacific Islands was essential for this movie and its characters. Now look at the 11 existing princesses, each and every one wearing pretty generic attire that alludes to their culture of origin vaguely. At best. Times are different now, and Disney is under more scrutiny than ever about its appropriation of other cultures for money. It's an issue that hung over the head of Moana from before the movie's release and continues to do so today, with specific focus on the costumes. And if the goal of all the Disney princesses is to have young girls wear your dress and look like the character, Moana's outfit, while terrifically designed and culturally sensitive from a movie standpoint, becomes really problematic when you start churning out cheap copies to sell next to your mall's sunglass hut. So what makes a princess? Well, according to Disney, it's not who you are, what you do, or even who you choose to marry. It's what you wear that counts. And isn't that the best message to send to little girls? Next time in our exploration of Disney princesses, we focus on that specific scene from Wreck-It Ralph 2, because the roster is much wider in that room, all in an effort to determine whether Vanellope might truly become Disney's next princess.
She wears a jacket,
Just like what all
so...
the other girls might tell her. Speaking of what you wear, Theorist merch is now available for a super limited amount of time, just in the nick of time for back to school. You are guaranteed to get it really quickly after you order it. Admittedly, this round of merch is mainly focused around game theory, but don't worry, next time there will be film theory stuff specifically. But if you want yourself an amazing heavy-duty backpack, an awesome shirt that might not make you feel like a princess, but will make you feel like $1 million, what has become my favorite pair of socks because of how soft they are, a Theorist pop socket for your phone so you don't drop it on your face while you're watching Disney movies lying in bed at night, or a Theorist notebook of your very own that might contain a mystery for you to unravel, click the link in the description below. Hey, you can tell a Disney princess by what they wear. Why not be able to tell a Theorist by what they wear as well? Looking stylish and bright glaring neon green. I'd like to see a Disney princess pull that one off. Click the link in the description to check out that merch, which every purchase comes with little bonus gifts sealed in there too, which is pretty cool. We like to sprinkle in little surprises for you guys. Make sure you curtsy in the direction of that subscribe button so you don't miss next week's episode where we take an analysis of Vanellope von Schweetz in time for Wreck-It Ralph 2. I'm excited about that one. Anytime you get to expose blatant corporate greed, it's usually a pretty exciting time. It's an episode that I'm always very excited to do. So anyway, check it out, click the subscribe button, and most importantly of all, remember, that's just a theory. A film theory. And cut.
Wow. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you do like this video, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to my channel and comment down below if you have any of us. Don't forget to follow my channel and sincerely appreciate all of your support and encouragement for me. It's very uplifting and motivating. I hope to see you in the next video. But hey, that's just a theory. A game! Sorry, just a moment. A film theory! Thanks for watching. One more time. Gosh. But hey, that's... and remember, that's just a theory. A film theory. And cut. And I hope to see you all in my next video. Thank you so much. Yes! Finally did it! Oh my gosh, so much NG, so much no-go. Well, subscribe!